Okay, we are live. So if you want to go ahead and tag some people, um, you can go ahead and do that. I'm about to go ahead and tag some people too. You look so small that I guess it's because we're using your phone.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. So let me go ahead and get started. So hello everybody. I see your mom is already on here. So let me go ahead hey Miss Janet, how are you?
Hey, mom.
So I do want to welcome everybody tonight to Let's Have a Conversation podcast. My guest tonight is Quinton Walker.
Oh,
Tonight's topic will be based on struggle to salvation. Um, Trying to send to a few people. Okay. So, so like I said, tonight's guest we have Quinton Walker. I've known Quinton for all of my life. We have we were raised basically together. Both of our backgrounds is church, um, singers. He is a preacher's kid. Uh, the Walker name is a big name, especially where we grew up at Montgomery area, Powton, Kimberly, surrounding area, Smithers, down in the sticks. That's where we're from. So, the Walker name is a well-known name. My last name Burger. Murray's. All that good stuff.
yeah.
Um, a big, family name. We're all basically related, some way or another. We're
Somewhere
all
or another, we all.
we're all in there. We're all related. But I put on tonight because I believe that he has a powerful testimony for one. Um, he's been through a lot in the last couple of years, and we're going to talk about a couple things. But I believe that he's never had the chance to tell his story. Other people have told his story, but it's different when it comes from the person that's been through it, who lived through it, who has conquered it, and now is getting better day by day. So I felt the need to have him come on tonight to share his own personal testimony, his struggles, his highs, his lows, however he seems fit to talk to us tonight. But like I start off with every podcast, I give everyone the opportunity and the space to answer this one question: Who is who is Quinton Walker? You have the floor.
How y'all doing? I'm Quentin Walker. Um, I'll start off with I was born June 19th, um, 1996, um, to Reverend Keith Walker and Janet Walker. I have three siblings. We just added an additional three to the three of us. Well, four of us. So yeah. Um Shoot, where should I start? Well, I had a good childhood growing up. You know, Malik touched on some things. Grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor, preacher's kid, been singing all my life. Um, just all of that. And, you know, we loved it. Like you said, we grew up in it. So we know all about it, the ins and outs of it. So, but I really didn't. I guess we can go ahead. You want to go ahead into it?
Sure, go ahead. This is all about you, buddy. However
Okay.
you want to do it.
So, my first encounter with drugs was when I was in high school. I was a senior in high school, and I started doing pills. Um, and we would go to the bathroom every morning, and we would do pills. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, you know, it is what it is. I hid a lot of stuff from a lot of people. Um, Today I can look back and say I'm not proud of it, but then, you know, we was just trying to fit in, I guess you can say. Um, so fast forward to graduation. I graduated high school. Um, Started drinking really heavily. Um, got with these two friends of mine. They're still friends of mine today. Um, and we just drunk every day. Drunk every day. I was still doing pills, uh, running around, doing whatever. Still working though, but
Hmm.
running around doing whatever. Um, and one time, me and my friends, we actually just got done drinking one night, and my friend dropped us off. He dropped me off first, and then he dropped my other friend off. Well, he didn't go home. So he called me. It was a Sunday morning. I never forget it. He called me and he was just like, I'm coming to get y'all. Get ready. So he was just like, oh, Lord, here we go.
Hmm.
We went riding around. Um, and, you know, they always say accidents happen close to home. And we actually flipped three
Oh,
times
wow.
down the hillside right above my parents' house. Um, that was a traumatic thing I would never forget. Um, I don't know, but it still didn't stop us because we still continued to do whatever we wanted to do. We still continued to drink and all that stuff. I was never the type of person that dealt with like the hardcore drugs like crack, meth, stuff like that. Anytime somebody offered it to me, I was just like, nah, that's not me. Um, until one time, um, we were on our way to Florida, and I just done a pill, and it was making me sleepy, so I had to pull over at a gas station, and my friend offered me some meth, and that's when I started doing meth. That was my first encounter with meth. And after that, I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. Uh,
Mm.
you know, just the rush of it, just the way it gave me energy. I loved it. Um, so from there, it was I cut off everything else but meth. And then I didn't meet. I mean, we already knew each other, but my ex-wife, um, we got together. So um, I moved away. I moved up here to Oak Hill because at the time that's where she was staying,
Hmm.
and I got away from all that. But then we moved to Smithers, and I got back in it. Um, there was a lot of crazy things that happened in my life. Um, I mean, I don't know if you want me to go into detail or not.
So I am going to stop you before we get real deep into it. Let me let's do a little background. So we both started out talking about, we have the background as, the church background. And we know preachers' kids have that persona of, oh, all preachers' kids are, they're this, they're that, because it's you and your three siblings.
Yeah.
So you have those eyes watching you, um, waiting for you to slip up, waiting for you to mess up, because of your dad being. And I do want to talk about your dad a little bit too. I mean, everybody knows. I mean, if you don't know, Reverend Walker. Everybody knows Reverend Walker. That's just a regular household name growing up is Reverend Walker. I know his dad has been a part of my life all my life. He actually used to be my pastor, actually. And with Reverend Walker, not just being the preacher, but we know that he's this dynamic, piano player, this choir director, he has that background of. So if you grew up in a Baptist church like I did, I grew up in Hansford Baptist Church, where at the time before Reverend Walker came on was, I mean, I'll be honest, dead. It was very dead, very boring. But you have Reverend Walker coming in, bringing in this new music, something that we've never seen before. And my aunt, I don't know, a lot of people may not know my aunt. She's passed away now. Miss Ernestine Norman, she was one of those singers that traveled around, Montgomery area, Charleston area, Smithers, as well as Quinton's grandmother. They were, I would say, two of one of the requested singers growing up to go and sing everywhere. If you saw Miss Dorothy, you saw my aunt. They were both the requested singers. Um, but getting back on track, how does that, affect you growing up? Because, you have the eyes on you as a preacher's kid, and people are waiting for you to mess up, but you have to pull back a little bit. You have to kind of be that positive person that you're carrying your dad's name around. Let's just be honest. You're Reverend Walker's son. That's a big title to hold, being Reverend Walker's son, or just a preacher's kid in general. But I'm sure that came with a lot of things that you did in private because you couldn't do it publicly.
Yeah.
Because if you did it publicly, not only is that tarnishing your name, but that's tarnishing your dad's name. That's tarnishing Dorothy Walker's name. It's a lot of things attached to it. So how did that affect you growing up, having to be that perfect child? And how did that affect you?
I mean, everybody messes up. Everybody go,
Right,
whatever they go through. But I always felt like I had, like you said, I had to hide everything because, you know, look who my dad is. Look who my grandma is, my mama, and all that stuff. So I felt like I always had to walk a fine line,
right.
and
Yes.
I had to keep everything separate and private to where if you seen me on a Sunday, I'm me. But
Yeah.
once I leave church, I'm cutting up. Like,
Right.
so it was that fine line that I had to, that all of us, had to walk. You know what I'm saying? Because it was hard. Preachers' kids got that stigma on them already, that they're already bad, and that all that stuff. So
And that is true. I mean, growing up, being in the church, you do kind of have to have that private life in a sense. You know, me growing up with my granny, Ella Berger, she didn't play, she wasn't having all that foolishness and, doing all this crazy stuff. But then when you're not around them, you get that little taste of freedom, so
yeah.
to speak, where I don't have granny telling me what to do. I don't have my mama telling me what to do. And I'm speaking in the sense of when I got older,
Hmm.
because clearly when I was younger, I mean, I wasn't really doing nothing. I was hanging out with my cousins. I was hanging out with Timmy. I was hanging out with my cousin LaMonica. I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up because I want to say, I don't want to say sheltered, but I was pretty much sheltered. I didn't get to go have the sleepovers. I didn't get to go and have, a lot of fun. I had fun growing up, but it was more so just my family. It was more so your friends are your cousins are your best friends. I
Hmm.
didn't have that, school best friend. But when I got older, I feel like this is my time to shine. I can do what I want to do. My grandmother's passed away. I don't have to be this starched individual. I don't have to, it's always church, 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 church. Because growing up, and I'm sure as well as you, I didn't have no choice. I'm going to church if I wanted to. If I didn't want to,
Have
you're
um,
going to be in church every Wednesday, every spring rally, every I'm in,
is
yeah,
you know
you
how many
know,
Bibles my daddy had to preach and we had to go?
you didn't have that option growing up. You were there. You had to be there. You had to sing. You had these things, but when you get that chance to branch off on your own,
Hmm.
do you think that when you got that chance of, I can finally be me, who I want to do, what I want to do. I don't have to go to church if I don't want to go to church. Do you think that that played a big part in, I don't want to say your downfall because it wasn't your downfall, but a part of your struggle? Do you think that that played a big part?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because after I got older, and they couldn't make me go to church anymore. I guess you can say. Yeah, that played a big part in everything that I went through because I started to get distant from God. I
Yeah,
started to do what I wanted to do, and my focus wasn't on Him anymore. It was just on what I wanted to do. So, yeah, I believe that played a major part in I'll still say downfall, because even though it was a downfall, I still got up.
that's true. That's true. So, let's start to go a little deeper now. So we talked about your dad, but I know just by seeing you and being around you growing up and stuff, I know you were close to your dad, but I truly believe that you were the closest to your grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Dorothy Walker, that songstress, that our singing bird, that I mean, if anybody know, she's on YouTube, go look her up. She's everywhere. Losing her. Um, I feel, just on the outside looking in, I think that really broke you in a sense because, you had that pillar all of your life. And, I lost my grandmother when I was younger, but you lost your grandmother in your older years. So, you had more time with your grandmother, but then that sudden, I don't want to say sudden loss, but just that loss, her not being there, her not having being able to have those conversations, her not, being in church, or you're not going to be able to hear her sing again, just stuff like that. Um, I think just looking on the outside, like I said, looking in, I think that really bothered you a lot. Um, you know, and I really want to say that maybe the drugs was an outlet to not think about the pain, to not think about, just the thoughts that was probably in your head. And then you just had other loss, just other family just passing away and stuff. You were just getting hit hard. And I believe that a lot of people were just not checking on you, but talking about you instead of, not really reaching out, but seeing you going through this spiral. Um, and I'm not just not to brag on myself, but I wasn't one of those people that was just looking at you. I inboxed you
Yeah.
because you were, I mean, you were going through a lot. I could see some things. And then when you started working at the job, and, that was not the Quentin that I grew up with.
Mm.
So talk about a little bit of that time frame with just losing, your grandmother, your cousins, everything that was happening around you. Talk a little bit about that.
Um, I remember it like it was yesterday. I forgot if it was Memorial Day or what we was up there for. Um, but whatever the holiday is before it becomes June, I forgot which holiday that is.
Yeah.
Um, but we were up there at her house, and I don't I'm straight up. I'm gonna tell it how it is. Um, us and the family weren't getting together. We're
Okay.
getting along with each other. My dad's kids, my siblings, and my parents. It was us versus them. I'm gonna just keep it real because that's how I am. But we decided that day that we were going to go and be with them for the holiday, because then we didn't go up there for any holidays at all.
Hmm.
So the family was divided,
Okay.
and we all just became one again that day. And my mama, she fell sick.
Hmm.
Um, it was crazy. It was weird. Um, but it's weird because I say I don't like my birthday. I don't like celebrating my birthday because I done lost a lot of people in June. Um, my mama died June 2nd. That it really was the hardest hit I can say of my life, was losing her. Um,
Yes.
because I worked night shift. I was working at McDonald's, and I worked night shift. And me and Allie didn't. We weren't morning people, so we wasn't getting up. So I could just remember, and I lived in Kimberly then. Um, my little brother, coming and banging on my front door and banging on my window in my bedroom, and I got up all mad, like, you didn't woke me up out my sleep. And all I can remember was opening up the front door, and my little brother said she's gone. And I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, my mama was down there with them, so I'm just like, what are you talking about? Who's gone? And they was like, Mama, she's gone. And I just felt like a ton of bricks just hit me. You know, um, I'm not gonna lie, I was high at her funeral. I don't even remember most of her funeral
Oh,
because
wow.
high. That's why I say, a lot of things was hidden that nobody could really see.
Yeah.
Um, and then um, one of my cousins passed away in June. I believe it was June 18th, the day before my birthday. Um, my cousin Quita. Um, that hit me like a ton of
Yeah.
bricks. Mind you, I've already about time Quita passed away. I've already then went through one, maybe two rehabs already. Um, maybe three. I would probably three. Um, and I picked up where I left off. Um, and about this time, I was already in psychosis when Guido passed away. Um, to where my mind was playing tricks on me. A lot of things that I share, you know, it's very hurtful. I feel how I feel. And I've tried to apologize to people that I needed to make amends with and apologize to.
Yeah.
Um, one one was my ex-wife. Like around that time, um, I was so deep in psychosis that I was thinking that she was doing stuff that she wasn't doing. I was kicking her out the house, all this stuff. Around that time, I treated her very very bad. Um, I don't put nobody else's business out there because it ain't my place to put her business out there. But um, yeah, I treated her bad, but it was because of hurt.
Yeah.
Not only from hurt of losing my family members, but it was the hurt that she put me through too. Um, so round time Quita passed away, I had no vehicle. I was stuck in Kimberly in my house with nothing. She left me. She left me there for almost a week, and she didn't call to check on me. I really didn't. I mean, I could have called my parents and they would have brought me some food, but I mean, I didn't have no food in the house. Like it was bad. Um, so that played a part in how I perceived everything. But I feel like I'm all over the place. But even at Quita's funeral, I remember most of it, but I was high at her funeral too. Like, and that's sad to say, but I mean, it's good to. I admitted it a long time ago,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's good to admit it again, um, because those are the things that still hurts me today. That I can't remember the last
Right.
time I seen my mama, and I can't even really remember the last time that I seen my cousin.
Wow.
So you know,
Um, to the person that's asking, what is he talking about? So the subject that we are talking about, so the whole podcast is about struggle to salvation, but he's talking about the loss of his family. I asked him about that and if that played a part in his abuse of drugs. So just to bring y'all up to date, that's what we're talking about right now. He's talking about the loss of his family, his grandmother, his cousins, um, and how that affected him and how that contributed to, like I said, the abuse of his drugs. We just started, y'all, so just calm down. We're gonna get to it. Just let the man talk. Go ahead, Quentin.
what they saying? I can't see.
I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. He said, "What is the subject about?" He's randomly talking about different situations that I referred to him losing family members. what is the question you asked him on why is he saying so much? That's what that man said. So just listen. He's going somewhere. Just let the man talk. Go ahead.
And I feel like I'm rambling. I feel like I'm going off, but
Hey, this is your story, so I'm not here to I just want to be very clear with everybody watching. This is his story. So if he feels like he needs to ramble on, let the man ramble. Like I said, he's never had the opportunity to let this all out. And if he wants to ramble on, now I'll stop him if you just start going crazy. But if he wants
I
to
still,
if he wants to ramble on, let him ramble on because I believe that this is what he needs. This is his release. So he just needs to go ahead and say what he needs to say. Um, but I'll so Rosetta said, let him talk and leave him alone. Exactly. Let the man talk.
my
Okay.
cousin.
So you go right ahead.
Uh, but yeah, like that that's what that really contributed to my drug abuse, me getting deeper into it. Was losing my mama and losing my cousin. Um, I was I was sort of already deep into it, but that just sent me over the edge. Like I said, I don't remember most of any of the services, so like I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know.
So let's talk about the abuse of the drug abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when you had first started coming, you started working at the hospital. Um, and when you first started, I didn't really see any signs of, you being a drug addict. Um, but I know prior, before you came, to work at the hospital. I know that there were some things going on. We've had conversations privately. I mean, everybody doesn't need to know what we've talked about, but things that you were dealing with, things that you were going on with your marriage, and such. Even though some things, I was like, what is he talking about? But at the time, I felt like you just needed somebody there to just listen to you. I don't care if you was talking about something in left field or, it wasn't making no sense. You just needed somebody to talk to. Um, and I just felt like a lot of times people just brushed you off, didn't really want to hear what you had to say because you were actively in addiction. And that's the problem because we always want to brush people off when they're battling something privately, drug addiction, just whatever they may be going through. We don't want to deal with them because, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They're losing their mind, you just toss them away like they're nothing. So I believe that in that moment and in that time that I just needed to just be there. If you needed to call me late at night and just vent and talk about whatever you need to talk about, I was there and I let you know that. But that was prior before you came to the hospital. So when you came and started working at the hospital, I don't know if you had been to rehab before, or
Mm-hmm.
because I think we had lost a little bit of contact. But you seemed fine. I mean, you didn't seem, out of the ordinary. You just seemed like Quentin to me. But I don't know if you may have gotten became friends with somebody. I don't know your business, but I saw you slipping down, going into some kind of spiraling out of control out of the blue. I know there was a situation that happened at the job. If you want to talk about it, you can. If you may not even remember it, but there was a situation that happened at the job where you had, I don't know if you had like I don't know what happened, but they had told me, and I was like, Quentin, who? Like, what happened? And I think after that, you lost the job or whatever. Um, and I think you were still married. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember, but I think after that, I think we lost contact again, and I think I saw you on Facebook, and you seemed. I think you were in a rehab, and like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know the time lapse, but and I saw you doing better. And now you're engaged, and I feel like this is the Quentin that I know growing up. This is the person that I knew, but the person that was abusing the drugs because of what you have been through. I think it's just stuff gets piling up, piling up, piling up. Your grandmother, your cousins, your marriage, just things just happening around you. And I believe the drugs was the outlet. So my question to you is, what was the lowest point in your life while on the drugs, that you realize, this has to stop?
Um, I could say my lowest point was going through a divorce, um, sleeping in my car, even though I know I could have went and even though I was staying at my parents, um, I just didn't want to bring that environment into their home.
Yes.
So I slept in my car most nights, or just be out riding. Um, but my lowest point was going through a divorce because who wants to go through a divorce?
Yeah.
Especially um when you're already down and you've already been seem like you've been beaten. Um like you said, when I was working at the hospital, I was going through a separation then.
Hmm.
And um it was like one minute she wanted to deal with me and the next minute she did. So I felt like I needed to, when I lost the job, I went back to rehab. And this time, I think I went to rehab in Parkersburg. Um, and but I was doing it for the wrong reasons. I was doing it trying to win her back. I wasn't
Yeah.
doing it trying to save myself
Right.
or anything like that. I was doing it trying to save my marriage. And it didn't work. It didn't work out. Uh, but yeah, that's my lowest point. Especially sleeping in my car. I used to go over to, I call it the old folk home over there in Smithers,
Uh-huh.
and I used to park my car over there. I don't know why I felt safe over there, um, but I used to park my car over there, and it would be winter time, and I would go to sleep in my car. You know, so yeah, that was really my lowest times that I've had in my life. Um, Especially when I went back to rehab this last time. Well, not this last time, but it was my
Yeah.
last. Um, it was rough. I got divorced in rehab. Um,
Wow.
and it was, I don't know, it was rough. I got divorced a month before my birthday. Um, and I just never thought it would happen. I still had some hope that things would change around.
Yeah.
Because hey, I'm doing good. I'm 90 days clean. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter when somebody's already fed up. They're fed up.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, but that hurt me even worse. But one thing I had to do is I had to learn how to love myself
Yeah.
because it was a lot of mess that I couldn't clean up. Like I couldn't clean none of it up. So I had to learn how to love myself and just hope and pray that they forgive me. That was it.
So I have a question, and this is not me being messy, but
Be
would
messy.
you? No, I can't. I don't ain't gonna be messy. But I have a real serious question. In the time during your addiction, would you say that the church helped you, or was it more so of they were nowhere to be found, if you know what I mean? Um, because I know a lot of times people, especially you being a preacher's kid, I'm going to go back to that. Like we talked about, you have to have this certain presentation to the world of, I have no problems, I have no issues, and silently you're suffering, you know, you're screaming on the inside for help, but you don't know how to verbalize that.
Right.
So you turn to alcohol, drugs, I mean, what else is it? Sex addiction, just different types of addictions. You turn to that because um, I don't know who that is, but hello, welcome on. Um, you turn to those things because of, not knowing how to verbalize, I need help,
Hmm.
because everyone's looking to you to have it all together
Right.
because of your preacher's kid. Why would you struggle? Why would you have these private thoughts? Why would you, why should you be hurting that your grandmother passed away? Why should you be hurting that your cousin passed away? They put this strength on preachers' kids, preachers' wives. They put this strength, this the strength of God. I want to say that the strength of God, the joy of the Lord is your strength. All these things, they attach that to y'all and forget that y'all are human.
Right.
Um, that you are going to be upset. You are going to go through moments of depression when people pass away. Um, but when you actually open up your mouth and you say, "Hey, here I am. My name's Quinton. I'm an addict," you know all those people that were praying for you when you were doing good, when you were, oh, you sang that song beautifully. Where are they at now? Now that I'm, actively saying I need help, where's everybody at?
Right.
So how did that look for you in that time of you saying, hey, I have a problem?
Um,
How did that look for you?
um, I want to start by saying that I wish I had the strength that my daddy has,
Yeah,
because that man has been through a lot, and that I look up to him. Like it's crazy how much strength that he has.
yeah,
I just want to start by saying that. Um, but the church was there. Um, Everybody that knew that I was going through my addiction, whether it was through Facebook, me posting crazy stuff, or um, just seeing me out. They were there um, through through prayers and support and whatever else. And they was there. They were there for my parents, and that's all I could ask for. Um, you can pray for me, but be there for my parents, because my parents is the one that needs it the most. But
yeah, yeah,
I put them through a lot, and actually, when I went to rehab in Parkersburg, it's called Harmony Ridge. When I went to Harmony Ridge, that's where I started to regain my faith back. Because they would have churches that would come there every Wednesday. They would do Bible study, just to let people like us know that, hey, we see y'all, and we care.
yeah,
Um, that helped me a lot. Um, Really, it really helped me a lot. Especially when I lived in Portsmouth. Um, I joined a church out there in Portsmouth. It's called Mount Zion Baptist Church, and my bishop, he assigned me a whole lot of things to do
Hmm.
from the get go. They wanted me to join the praise team. I said, I ain't joining no praise team. I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. Um, but then sooner than later, I joined the praise team. Um, and my bishop helped me too.
Yeah.
Um, regained my faith. Because I was struggling. I was struggling, and I don't care. I do care, but I don't care how many times somebody say, "Oh, baby, I'm praying for you." Listen. It when you going through your mess and you going through your storm, hey, I'm glad you praying for me. Keep praying for me, but I I don't know. I don't want to hear that right now. Like,
Exactly. I mean, I just know, speaking for myself, when you're actively going through something, the last thing on your mind, and I know people be like, oh, but you have the background of church, blah, blah, blah. But the last thing on your mind is, you coming to me and telling me that you're going to pray for me. I don't want to hear that. I'm trying to get out of what I'm in.
yeah,
Try to help me. What words can you give me that besides I'm praying for you? Tell me, how can I get out of this? Tell me, and are you just saying it because you want to know what I'm going through? Are you
yeah,
do you want to know, or are you just actively, are you really praying? Because so many people come up to you and just, I'm praying for you. But they're just saying it just to say it because it's just the church lingo. I see you may be going through something, but I don't know what you're going through, but I'm just going to tell you that I'm praying for you, and in hopes that you might tell me what you're going through. But in the times that I face, and I'm sure that you face, uh, I got church, but I'm still here. Yes, Brian said that I got church, but I'm still human. I think a lot of people forget that
yeah.
even if you are in church, you are human.
Mm,
You're going to have those times where faith is a little low. You don't know how to help yourself. You don't know who to turn to. Sometimes you don't even have the strength to pray. I mean, let's just be honest. Sometimes you don't. You
I need
don't have the,
no.
yeah. It's easy to say, it's easy to pray to God when everything's all right.
Mm-hmm.
But when all hell is literally breaking loose, when you feel like you just holding on by a thread, you don't know what words to muster up. You don't know, sometimes you can't even say help. Like you don't have nothing to say. You're just lost.
That's
You
right.
just you're lost. You don't know where your faith is at. You don't know sometimes, and I hate to say this, you don't even know where God is at. Because you think, I'm going through all this. Where's God in this? Where is, and that's my next question to you. When did you come to terms, because I know the time that you went for your marriage, that wasn't really for you. That was for somebody else. You wasn't ready to go through rehab, but you wanted to go through it to save something that you thought needed to be saved.
Mm-hmm.
But when did you, look in the mirror and say, oh, I need help? This is, I have to go for me. I'm ready. I don't want to go for mom. I don't want to go for daddy. I don't want to go for sister, brother, cousins, but I need to go for myself. When did you know it was really time to turn your life around?
Um, I believe it was sometime in April, of 2024. Um, I woke up in my car.
Mm,
Uh, I was the term fiending. I needed my fix, but I just didn't want to get it. I didn't want to do it no more.
yeah.
Um, and I was tired of seeing the looks on my parents' face and the worry. on my parents' face all the time. And the things that I put and said to my parents, especially my dad. Um, but yeah, it was sometime in April. It was I remember that too. I just said this is enough. I'm tired. Like I'm so tired of being sick and tired. I'm so tired of fighting whatever I'm fighting alone.
Yeah.
So I went to my parents' house. I packed my bag and I believe I left the next day and I went back to Portsmouth because that's where I had the most success at. Um, and it's a big community out there to where everybody is going to be there for you. And still to this day, and I don't even live there anymore. They everybody that I was in rehab with, they still contact me. Um, but yeah, that's when I had enough. I just woke up and was like, I'm tired. Like it's it's something that's in you that's just like maybe I can go one more round, or maybe this is just it.
Mm. Yeah.
Because I already know. Um, if I go back to doing drugs again, I lose everything. Probably my life. Um, so I I just say that God keeps continuing to bless me every day. So I mean I don't I don't feel the need. I don't. The urges, yes, the urges are still there some days. But I just lean and depend on the people that are surrounding me and they got me. So when I'm struggling, they know how to lift me up. So yeah, that's
That's good. So in other words, you have a good support system.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you have surrounded yourself with people that's going to hold you accountable
You
and
have
be like, yeah,
you have to
yeah.
because at the end of
I,
the day, because at the end of the day, I don't mean to cut you off.
go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, like if I don't surround myself with like-minded people that think like me, then I'm just gonna it's gonna be a whole disaster. My
Yeah,
my my life, I can take my life back to doing drugs in a matter of seconds. A matter of seconds. That's all it takes.
yeah.
But what's the point? I have a good fiance. I have a beautiful, good fiance. Um, I have a loving family. I have a good support system. There's no reason.
Um, I want to read some things that people have said. I'm sorry, everybody. I keep overlooking some things. Shalane, you know who Shalane is.
That's my
Um,
yeah.
Aunt Shalane, she always calls me her cousin, but that's Aunt Shalane to me. If anybody knows her, she was like my grandmother's best friend. They were always together. So I'm happy to see her on tonight. But she said, "Love you, cuz, proud of you." Brian Thompson, Prophet Brian Thompson, he said, "The saints arrive in a place of glory, but forget they too had a past, and real ministry sometimes becomes a thing of the past." Uh, Allison Phillips said, "Sure did." I think he was commenting when you said that you still talk to people when you were to the rehab with. I think that's when he commented. Um, Queen Boss Lady Key. Now I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
My cousin. That's my
Oh,
cousin.
okay. She said, "Yes, God, you are doing so good. Proud of you." Let's see. Chantel, your sister, she said, I'm so proud of you, and how far you've come. To God be all the glory. Patrice Simley,
That's my
proud of you, nephew. Your mom, proud of you, son. Okay, so everybody just comment now. But I don't forgot what we was talking about. Um, so right now, in the place where you're at, mentally, you went through the struggle, and now you're in recovery. Um, what can you say right now is one of the greatest triumphs that you have experienced being sober?
um. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You
Uh,
better say that engagement.
that is, hey, but that's one. That's one.
Yeah.
That's one of my uh number one thing. Well, my I'm gonna call it my second thing. My first thing is getting back into church. Um,
Okay. Yes.
getting back closer to God. Um, because that was if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't have anything to celebrate. Um, but yeah, getting engaged, yeah, that's one. God put her in my life.
Yes. Yes.
God really put her in my life. He put her in my life at the exact moment that I needed her. So I'm very grateful for her. Um, and just I think I said it before, but like God just keep opening up so many doors for me
Yeah.
that I'm not overwhelmed, but I'm thankful.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful and I'm blessed. Um, but I don't know. It's just a lot of things happening at one time. So everything just everything just happens. We were taught in rehab to celebrate everything, even if it's just the smallest thing, to celebrate it.
Absolutely. And I want to say not just in rehab, but I'm learning for myself. And I mean, I've never been to rehab, but I'm learning just to celebrate the small things. Even though where you might not be where you want to be, be grateful for where you're at, you
Yeah,
know, because it could be another way. The things that we've been through, we could be dead, we could be in the psych ward, we could be locked up in a padded room, we could be dead, so you have to celebrate the small victories, to appreciate the big wins.
that's
you
right.
know um Sometimes I get aggravated, I get frustrated because I want certain things, or I want to do certain things, or I want to achieve certain things, but sometimes I have to remind myself, just be grateful for what you have, be grateful for where you're at, because everybody doesn't have the privilege to have an apartment. People don't have the privilege to have a job, so you do have to celebrate everything. You have to stop being so wanting to be so depressed and negative all the time. I mean, a lot of times I find myself doing that just out of aggravation, out of life being life. It's easier to be negative than positive. It really is.
Right.
Um, okay, so you got some more people talking to you. LaMonica, she said, haven't seen or spoken in years, but I love to see you doing very well.
Thank you.
Um, your aunt said again, I love you. Addison, he said, listen, I've been in and out of the video, but I can tell that you have a story. What keeps you sober today?
I knew he was gonna do it. What keeps me sober today is knowing in a blink of an eye that I can lose it all.
Mm,
That's what keeps me sober today, is knowing that. Because listen, I've I've been to so many funerals for, and when I say lose it all, I mean lose my life too.
yeah,
Um, so many funerals that I've been to for my friends, for people that were my age, and
yeah.
I was sitting there thinking the other day, I was doing the same drugs that they was doing,
Mm-hmm.
but they died and I'm still here.
Yes, yes.
And you know, I asked God a long time ago, like, what are you keeping me here for? Like,
Yeah.
what are you keeping me here for? And a lot of people know that uh, I stepped into my calling, and that was to preach. That is to preach, not was. That is.
Yeah.
Um, and I stepped away from it because I knew I was doing wrong. Because you can't get high and stand up in church and preach.
Well, let me interject real quick. So I like that you said that you set yourself down because that you wasn't doing right.
Right.
Um, Also, so I want to say a lot of people do get in the pulpit and are high and doing, all a bunch of crazy mess. But
Yeah.
I just want to commend you for, I just had to interject real quick. I want to commend you for doing that, for stepping down because you recognize, hey, I ain't right, so I ain't about to lead nobody else to hell.
Right.
Because it's so common nowadays where people do what they want to do, still, preach, still, lay hands, still, want to be in the pulpit telling people what they don't need to be doing, but they currently doing it. So I'm sorry, I just had to interject when you said that. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like you said, I sat myself down. I'm thankful for my pastor, Reverend Kenny, because he understood. Uh, but yeah, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I know what my calling is. I know God called me to preach, and everybody like, well, why don't you do it? Why don't you go ahead? And I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I can't say I'm waiting on God, but I don't know. I don't know.
I,
Um.
I think sometimes, because I will speak for myself too, because it's been, people, oh, you're supposed to be this preacher, you're supposed to, you're this prophet, and all this, and I don't deny the call. So let me be clear, I don't deny it, I don't deny the call, but I think my thing is I don't want to fail. Um,
There
and I
you.
don't know if that's how you feel, but I don't want to fail because I know that there's so many people that are in the pulpit and living all types of craziness and doing all types of things, but I don't want to be that person. When I went to and then I'll be quiet, but when I went to the Jordan Apostle Robin's church, I specifically wrote her and I said, listen, I'm not here to jump in nobody's pulpit. I'm not here to be in nobody's praise team. I'm just here to work and help. That's all I want to do. I don't want to be in the pulpit knowing that I ain't doing right.
Right.
And I'm sitting here telling people how to live right. That's not me, I don't want to do that. So I think for me, it's the fear of failure because I know I'm not all the way right.
Right.
Um, Now
Right.
even when I do, accept the role and start doing whatever, I'm still not going to be all the way right. We're all going to, sin. We're all going to, have moments of where we don't do something right. We didn't say that right, or, we're going to have those moments. But I want to know when I step into that, that I'm stepping into it the right way.
Right.
So I know that's for me. I don't want to fail because that's a big responsibility. It's not like you're stepping into a supervisor position. You're
Right.
stepping into a role where you're leading people to Christ.
Right.
Souls are on the line. So that's not something that you want to mess up with and want to play around with. So as for me, that's why I haven't, been like, oh, and I just ain't eager. I'm just not eager to jump in nobody's pulpit. I just don't have no, you know, but yeah,
But yeah, that's like me too. Yeah, I just it's the failure part. I don't want to fail nobody, and I don't want to fail God.
yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
so let me take my time. Yeah,
Right.
and in due season, right? So, but yeah, but I know it's there. Like you say, I don't deny it. It's there, but
Absolutely.
I just yeah, I'm just afraid to fail. But
And it's just a lot of other things, you got going on too. You're in the process of you're about to get married, just other things, that play a part in it as well. Tamika Robinson, so proud of you both. Congratulations, love you both. Hey, Aunt Tamika, I'm surprised to see you on too. All these people just coming on. Where you people been at when I had all these other people on? No, I'm just kidding. But I'm glad that y'all are tuning in. Uh, but let's see where are we at. I would like to uh I would like to see, what is the future for you? What do you have future endeavors? Like where do you see yourself in like the next 5 years? I know nobody knows what tomorrow holds, but what would you like to see yourself doing in the next 5 years?
um, in the next 5 years, I would like to get my peer support. And they don't have to take 5 years to get that.
Yeah,
Um, but I would like to get my peer support, and I would also like to get my counseling in drug and alcohol addiction. I actually started my peer support classes when I was out in Portsmouth, but I stopped them. Um, but yeah, I would like to work in a rehab. I would like to work with people that are just like me.
yeah,
Because I feel like I can I we can resonate. Like
right,
we
right,
can talk. That's why sometimes when which they have a peer support specialist at the hospital. But that's why they some of the nurses would come and talk to me because I'm not afraid to tell people what I've been through.
yeah,
I'm not afraid to tell people who I am. Um, because at the end of the day, that's what made me and molded me into who I am today.
right,
Uh, so, excuse me. So sometimes when people come to the hospital and they're coming off drugs and stuff like that, and I slide on in there because I gotta clean their room anyway. So I just slide on in there and I just drop little nuggets of hope, um, little nuggets of faith, little nuggets that look at what I went through. Your situation might not look like my situation, and my situation might not have looked like yours.
right,
At the end of the day, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
yeah,
Always. It doesn't matter what you go through, there's always that light at the end of the tunnel. But
yeah,
but we have to be that light. And I stressed that a lot when I was in rehab this last time about being a light. Um, because at the end of the day, how is somebody else gonna be able to conquer and go through anything without somebody that is positive and having nothing but positivity around them?
Right.
But yeah, because I'm grateful that I'm grateful that I went through this. You know, a lot of people don't say
Amen.
a lot of people don't say that. I'm grateful that I went through this because me going through this, I've helped what 2 or 3 people go to rehab. Um, it's just a lot. Like I'm grateful, you know. So some people say it's a curse and or why me, but I'm like you had a plan and that's what your plan was. So
Well, I'm proud of you. I'll tell you that. I'm very proud of you because I've only seen just a glimpse of what you've been through. Just different things that we've talked about privately, and just seeing you today, engaged, not on drugs, in your right mind, just like you said, the small things. All God, absolutely.
that one,
Uh, I'm very proud of you because, like you were talking about, the same people that went through what you went through are no longer here,
mm,
but you're still standing, you're still alive. And it is sad because I can say the people that I went to school with, a lot of people are currently still on drugs, but you can just see how drugs has taken their whole life, and they're transformed, and they don't even want to get better. I see people all the time, driving just here in Charleston, or sometimes when I go like towards like, Marmette, the areas like that, and you just see the people that you went to school with, and they're gone. They're just gone. They're not there anymore, or they're dead. And it's sad. It really is sad. So I'm grateful that you are one of the ones that didn't die in it. I prayed this prayer, and I remember when you first started talking to me about stuff you was going through, and I just prayed and I just asked God, I said, don't let him be like everybody else. Don't let him be that statistic of he didn't make it out. He died in it. Let him live to tell his story. Let
mm,
him live to help somebody else. Because
mm,
I believe just by you being on here tonight, I believe that more doors are open up for you to give your testimony, and you haven't even spoken about a lot of the stuff that you've been through, but just by the little snippets that you've given us tonight so far, I believe that somebody is going to be helped by this. This is going to reach somebody, and this might save a life, even if it's just one. At least that
take
one life.
is the
Yeah.
all one. The hardest part, the hardest part about all of this is saying I need help. That's
Yes.
that's the hardest part. Once you say that, it everything else will just flow. Like I see a lot of people every day that like you said, I could just be driving and stuff like that, but I see a lot of people that I see so much potential in them. I see so much of God's grace in them that all they have to do is say, I need help. That's all you have to do. But that is
So with
hardest.
you saying that, because I heard you said it's hard. So what motivated you to finally say, I need help? Because that's easier said than done, with any type of situation, not just drugs, but just, any type of private struggle that you may be facing. It's hard to actually say, I need help, you know. Um, so how did you muster up the courage, the strength to tell somebody or ask somebody, hey, I need help?
it was hard. Um, but it was just the more of the mental abuse I was doing to myself.
Hmm.
Like I said earlier, I was going through psychosis, and if anybody has ever went through psychosis, it it's bad. I don't wish that on my worst enemy. That is so bad. I mean, seeing things that aren't there, hearing voices that aren't there. Sometimes other people's psychosis is worse. And me being addicted to meth, it lasts longer with me than anybody else that does any other drug.
Yeah.
Um, but I can remember, and I'll tell this story. I can remember um my whole body would shut down. Um,
Mm.
I remember one morning I was at my parents' house, and I just collapsed. Like I couldn't move.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
I laid on the floor for maybe about an hour and could not move. My parents had to call the ambulance for me. Um, when the ambulance got there to the house, I still couldn't move. The only thing I could move was my neck. That was the only thing. I could only move my head like this. That was it. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't move anything. Um, and they got me to the hospital in Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Mind you, I don't want to be there. Uh,
Yeah.
so, gosh, Lord help me. I cussed everybody out, the nurses, the doctors, uh, my ex-wife, um, my whole family. I think my
Mm.
sister there, my dad, my mom. Um, I cussed every, and it was that's when I realized too, like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
And through all of that, through cussing everybody out, the only person that would stay back there with me. That's why I say this man got the strength of, I don't know, but it was my dad. He was
Yeah.
the only one that would stay back there with me. And I can remember um me sitting there crying, and he came up to me and he hugged me. Like, I don't know. Anybody that know me and know my dad, like, I don't. That's my dude. Like,
Right.
um, but yeah, that was the hardest thing of me saying that I need help. Because when you get to the point to where you can't even move your legs, your arms, nothing. Um, I don't. It was the worst thing ever. But also, like I said, the mental abuse that I put on myself. I have my days to where, like I said, psychosis will stay with you for up to, I think it's 3 years. I can't remember. Um, but I have my days to where sometimes I can't sleep
Yeah.
because I still hear stuff, I still see stuff, like, and that's just something that I still have to deal with. But I have to deal with this addiction for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I needed help, and it took a while. I went through 4 rehabs before it finally stuck. Um, and I know a lot of people that go through rehabs and rehabs and rehabs and rehabs that, but I told myself this last time. I said this has to stick. It has to. That's when I got into therapy. I also said I
Hmm.
need therapy.
Yeah.
Um, that was the best decision of my life. Um, because my therapist helped me uncover a lot of things within me that I didn't know what was there.
Hmm.
So um I said I needed help to a lot of things.
Right.
Med because I told him, I said I'm not getting on no medicine. Um they diagnosed me with depression and anxiety.
Hmm.
Uh, and I had to give in and was like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. As long as it'll help me and not hurt me. So so I said I needed help to a lot of things. But saying I need help as in going to rehab, that was hard. And I think I told my dad um that I needed to leave and I need to go to rehab. So so yeah, man. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for where I'm at today.
Yes.
Um but I wouldn't change my past. I wouldn't change what I went through. Not one single thing, because all that hurt and heartache and pain, it made me just
It's worth
make
it.
yeah, it made it worth it. Yes, it made it, because you to me you have to go through a little bit of pain somewhere in your life. And if it's
I think that's what makes, I know we were talking about ministry earlier, but I think that's one thing that makes a strong minister, having the background of a little bit of struggle, a lot of struggle, whatever you want to call it. But that's how you help others. If you ain't never been through nothing, you ain't going to be able to help somebody else go through something. So so I really am with you when you say, you wouldn't change it, worth
no,
nothing, because I wouldn't change anything that I've been through. A lot of times I think about, oh, why did I have to go through it? But now I know,
yeah,
now I know why I had to go through what I've been through, because, people, I don't want to be arrogant, but people need me. People need you, people need to know that, yes, I've been through this, but I can also make it through it, you
mm,
know? So before we get off of here, I do want to ask you, do you have anything else that you want to say?
uh,
I know you said you was a little, so everybody, he said he was a little nervous to get on, but I think that
I
he did
I'm still nervous.
very well.
Can't you tell?
I
Um,
think you're doing great. You're doing great.
but no, I leave you with this. If you need help, don't hesitate to ask. Um, you can ask anybody. Well, I hope you can ask anybody. I hope you feel safe enough and all that to ask anybody for help. Um, but don't stay in the struggle for long.
Yeah.
The grass isn't greener over there. Um, it's not green anywhere really. But that drugs is something that just completely takes over your life. It's something that you will struggle with every day. Um, it doesn't matter if they call it a high functioning addict and a low functioning addict. A high
Yeah.
functioning addict is when you can still go to work, do whatever you got to do, all that stuff. A low functioning addict is when you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Um, but if you need help, I'm here. You can contact me. Um, since going through um all these rehabs and stuff like that, I ain't proud of it, but I went through it. Um,
Right.
hey, I got some connections now.
Yeah.
Um, and we will. I will make sure that you get the help that you need. Um, because I don't want to see nobody struggle. Um, I can't. I can say if it worked for me, it can work for you, but I wouldn't know what worked for you.
Right.
Um, but if you need help, just contact me. It's not hard. You can send me a Facebook message, anything like that, and I'll help you the best way I can because somebody helped me along the way.
Right. Absolutely.
Allison, that's in the comments. He helped me along the way. Um, he's actually the first one. He's actually the one that took me to my first rehab. Um, but and he's helped me ever since. Even when I didn't fail down, he still is there to be like, hey, just come back, just come back. And we have a saying out there in Portsmouth. I don't know if they say it anywhere else. Just keep coming back. Just keep coming back. Like it doesn't matter how many times you go to rehab, as long as you just keep coming back. As long as it don't matter how many times you fell down and went back out, as long as you just keep coming back.
Yes.
But it's one day at a time. You can only take it one day at a time. One day, 1 second, 1 minute, 1 hour. That's all you can do. Don't try to
Yes.
rush, because if you try to rush this they say this is what they say it is. This is a marathon, not a race or something. I can't even remember
I know what you're trying to say, but I don't know
it.
how it goes either. But I but I know what you're trying to say.
You gotta walk before you can run. You gotta crawl before
Yes.
you walk, and walk before you run. Right now you'll be crawling, and,
Yes.
and then you'll be walking, and then hopefully you'll be running. But you have to start somewhere. You have
Absolutely.
to somewhere. And believe me, this is coming from a person that wanted to die. I was doing drugs every day just to kill myself because I didn't
Jeez.
live. I did not want to live one bit. Um, but it's possible, but only if you want it. You have to want it.
Only if you want it.
I can't no
Yes.
you you can't do it for your kids. You can't do it for your husband, your wife, your daddy, your mama, whatever. You gotta do it for you. Because at the end of
Yes.
the day, only you got you. So it's all like
Yes. What is your fiance's name?
Tayana.
Okay, because I was about to butcher it all the way up. So she said she said you did great, honey. We're proud of you.
Thank you, thank
Um, what else did she say? She said something else too, but I was afraid to say her name because
you.
I just didn't want to mess it up. She said, I'm so proud of you. I can't wait to see what the future holds. I know this video alone will help a lot of people. So, your aunt said, always trust the process.
Mhm.
Um, so I do want to again, I want to thank Quinton for accepting to be on because I know this isn't easy, to be in the forefront, all eyes on you, you telling your story, your testimony, it's not an easy thing to do. So I do honor you for even accepting. I'm honoring you for being so candid and being so, just telling us, what you've told us tonight. And I know there's more that you could say, but I'm just thankful for you being on. Don't let this be your last time being on because I don't think it will. I've got things in the works for 2026. So be expecting to see him back on the podcast. But I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for sending such encouraging words within the chat to him because I'm sure it helps him out. I'm sure, just the encouragement to keep going on, to keep, striving to be a better him each and every day. I'm excited for your wedding. I'm excited to be there and
Yeah.
support you. Yes, I'm just excited for everything that God has for you in 2026.
Lord,
Um, yes, yes. So if you don't have anything else, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Again, I thank you. I thank you for coming on. I thank you all for watching. Please like, share. So I will be posting this to YouTube as well. So if you did not watch live, you will be able to watch the replay on YouTube because Facebook deletes videos after 30 days now. It used to not be like that. But yes, I will be posting it to YouTube. So thank you all, and you all have a great night. And as he said, if you have anybody that may be going through a struggle, don't hesitate to inbox him, and he will get you the connects, like he said. So with all minds clear, I think we're going to go
all
ahead and leave.
hearts are clear.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Quentin, and thank you
Love,
all.
love you.
Yes,
Thank
love you. Yes, absolutely.